We are Genzio Media House, and today I have Tony from Shrapnel. Tony, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us here today. It's a beautiful spot.
It is. I want to hear about this game. Tell me, why people watching should go check it out.
Absolutely. Well, Shrapnel is a first-person extraction shooter built on top of an Avalanche subnet. If you're not familiar with extraction shooters, you can check out games like Escape from Tarkov or Call of Duty, specifically the DMZ mode. There was also a game called The Division that had a mode called the Dark Zone. And basically, the premise is in most first-person shooters, you jump into a session, you run around, you find weapons, you kill people, and then the session ends and you get a score and you progress in some way. But you don't actually keep anything from match to match, right? Every time you jump in with the same set of gear and you can find new gear, but it goes away after every match. With extraction shooters, you have a persistent inventory as a player that lives outside of the game, and you decide what you want to bring into the game every time, with what weapons you want to bring, how much ammo, med packs, what skins you want to equip, even what player you want to play as. All of those things in our universe are NFTs. They're tokenized, and so when a user enters the match, if they are killed, they can lose their stuff. People can steal their things when they kill them. Further, as the match progresses, better things appear, better weapons, better attachments, skins, fragments of skins, and the user will, or the player will find more valuable things as the time goes on. Meaning that generally the better players will last until the end because they'll wait the longest to get the best stuff and they'll kill all the other people to make sure they get it. Layered on top of that is this concept of extraction, meaning at 3 different points, right now it's 3, it might end up being 5 or 6, who knows, we're still building the game. But at 3 different points, basically a little notification pops up and says there's a helicopter inbound and you can escape.
Cool.
And so if you get to the drop area with like the red smoke, you stand there for a few seconds and you extract, then you get to keep all the stuff that you extracted with, right? And so the lore of the video game is set in the near future. The concept is an asteroid called Sigma 38 strikes the moon and shatters the moon, and destruction starts raining down because pieces of the moon and pieces of this asteroid are falling down on Earth, and it creates a bunch of dead zones that you just can't inhabit anymore because there's constantly shit falling down and blowing stuff up, and so the world government kind of comes together, the world organization kind of comes together and creates large walled areas around these places where the moon is raining down, so that people can't go in and get hurt, and these are guarded by effectively like mercenaries, like global mercenaries. As the story progresses, people find out that this Sigma, this stuff that is falling down that was in the asteroid, is incredibly valuable. It powers quantum mechanics and quantum computing and allows us to do all kinds of crazy shit. And that is the MacGuffin. That's like the thing that you're trying to get in the game. So as the meteors rain down throughout the course of the game, you pick up this green stuff, and it powers abilities that your player has. So like right now in the game, you can power up basically a Sigma push. And so you press a button and it shoots out like a green force field and it shoots the person you're fighting across the map, and you can shoot it down to the ground and like make yourself jump higher and so forth and so on. And the more Sigma you collect, the more powerful those abilities are. So again, the idea is risk reward. You decide what you want to take in. You decide how long you're going to stay. You decide how much stuff you're going to collect before you try to escape. And then if you extract with the enough Sigma or enough weapons, you can then go and you can use Sigma to either power up your gear, progress your kit, your weapons and stuff that you're using, or you can use it to progress your character. Right? You can every operator, every player in the game will have a unique set of perks and traits that they basically roll every time they create a character. And so like we have specific operators in the game. Like there's a operator called a Niki, which is like this guy. There's Alexandra, who's this woman, and I might own 5 Aniki operators. They're NFTs, but my one Aniki operator might roll a set of perks that makes him regenerate more quickly, or he might roll a set of traits that makes him be able to run faster, or like determine where Sigma is, or check and see if there's stuff on a body that's out in the open before they go and try to loot it and risk dying. So like all of those are perks that you might roll on a character. And so as you level up more characters, as you progress more characters, you'll find what playstyle really works for you. So I think I just talked unabated for maybe like 5 minutes, and so I'll go to
Now
the next
you're
question.
good.
Maybe.
It sounds like a super well thought out game, and it sounds like you also like gather like so much knowledge around gaming itself. Like, what's your background? Like, how did you arrive to this idea?
Oh man, well, it's not my idea. I'm just the marketing guy. My background, I've been working in video games for, oh man, like I think almost 20 years now. But I started at Nintendo a million years ago, working on the Wii products and the DS products and a bunch of internet marketing stuff. And I worked at Amazon for a long time. I was on the team that created this program called Twitch Prime at Amazon. It's called Prime Gaming now. So I spent a lot of my time in content creation, working with creators to help people discover content and games and content within games that appeals to them, which is what really drew me to Shrapnel. So the team at Shrapnel, the background is super impressive. It's the coolest place I've worked from a personnel perspective. The founders of the studio were these 6 individuals that were working at HBO. And HBO was making a Westworld game and a Foundation game and some other stuff. And then they got bought by like AT&T, I think, bought HBO. And the corporate gods were like, HBO doesn't make video games. They make movies and TVs or TV shows. And we have these other companies that make video games. So you're not making video games anymore. So these 6 people, instead of like going and being TV producers at HBO or whatever, were like, we'll go make our own video game. And so they had this, this idea for this concept. They spun up the studio, and the core group, Mark Long, a guy named Don Norbury, they and Colin Ferran, they have a very strong passion for moddable games, for the creator economy. Don actually will tell you, our head of studio, that he got his first job in the games industry by winning a mod competition for a game called Neverwinter Nights. And he got a job at like an internship after that, and that's what got him in the industry. And so everything in Shrapnel is fully moddable, from the weapon skins to the characters to the game modes that you're playing. Like I just described an extraction game mode to you, but there could be team deathmatch game modes where it's more like Call of Duty, where you just jump in and run around and kill each other, and the person who gets the most kills wins, right? We aren't going to make that. Our audience is. We've created a series of creator tools that allow people to mod, again, everything in the game, and then publish their mods on the blockchain, so that if Will, who's the gentleman here running the camera, is the best door maker in Shrapnel, like for some reason his door designs are just, they make it more compelling to get into fights, or they open slowly, or they open more quickly, or whatever. For whatever reason, you don't want to make a building in Shrapnel without using Will's doors. Will can mint his door on the blockchain and say, like, I want to lease it I want to rent it, I want to sell it to Tony to use on his map for a fixed fee for $5, for $10, and then he can use the doors whenever he wants. I want 5% or 10% or 1% of any money that Tony's map makes, because Tony's making a map that people are going to play. Or instead, Tony can just use it for free, and I want him to tell everyone that he's using my doors. Like, any of that is possible with the contracts, and it's really up to the creator to figure out how they want to build those creations. And so the thing that gets me, that's how I got here. The thing that gets me really fired up is at Amazon, when we were doing the Twitch Prime stuff, the concept was, we took a lot of Jeff's money, and every Prime member gets $5 they can give to Twitch streamers now, right? It's part of the Twitch subscription program. And what that did was it motivated Twitch streamers to say the word Amazon Prime on Twitch all the time. Like, hey, if you have Amazon Prime, you can give me $5 right now. Just click this button, right? And through that program, we distributed, I don't know what it is now, but when I left, it was like $30 million a year in payouts to streamers. And that was magical to me. Like, you're a content creator, you're an influencer. The ability to sit down with people who have a real vision for how they think media is going to evolve, and their part in that, and be able to empower them to go test and discover and make enough money to survive while they're doing that, was really a cool thing for me, right? Like, I fell in love with that. And I think Shrapnel's doing that through a completely different lens. Like, you see what Epic's doing with UEFN right now. And they've had to change their whole business structure and unfortunately lay a bunch of people off and make big changes within their departments, so that they can fund a huge percentage of their revenue to go to content creators making maps on Unreal Engine now, right? And that is a powerful thing that they did, and also a really tough thing that they did, because they were already a successful business changing the model. What excites me about Shrapnel is we're building what I hope is going to be a wildly successful business, but from the ground up with that in mind. Like, there is no concept of a successful Shrapnel where content creators, people making maps, people making skins, are not making millions of dollars. Like, we as a business will not be a successful AAA game if we don't generate enough interest and enough people to come and buy that user generated content for that statement I just made to be true. And so that's what's really exciting to me. Either we're going to be successful, we're going to be a AAA game, 1 million people every month are going to come play it, and people like Will, people like you who make cool shit are going to be able to monetize their lifestyle using that cool shit. That's cool to me. That's magical to me. That's what I want.
I love that. I like that you're bringing together not just people that want to play the game, like to play the game together, but also those who are creative and maybe they're less interested in playing the game, but they want to contribute to it and they want to express their creativity on the platform. Oh, how would you like? Who would you say is like the ideal user at the moment? What's this profile?
It's a great question. And honestly, it's deeper than what you just said, which really gets me geeked out. Because like I am old. I'm 37 years old. I can't play video games with the youngins anymore. I mean, I play it.
You're not that
I get
old.
murdered. I am. But I get murdered constantly when I play my own game. It took me all weekend to get the 10 kills I needed to complete the mission for our closed alpha and get the exclusive skin. But I love the ecosystem. I love the game. I love the lore. I'm also not like I'm a marketing guy, but I'm like kind of a Luddite when it comes to like drawing and like aesthetic. But I'm like good at recognizing talent. I'm good at recognizing good creative. Like that is one of my superpowers. And there's a home for me within the Shrapnel ecosystem. Like with our token, with Shrap token, you'll actually be able to vote on content that you think is going to be popular and be a curator or a shot caller. And so like if you have an audience, right? If you're a person with 200,000 Twitter followers, and you happen to also be an artist and you make a skin in Shrapnel, you can say, followers, you don't even have to go buy this skin. Like just lock up some Shrap token and vote. It's like a staking mechanic and vote that my skin is going to be popular this month or that my map is going to be popular this month. And if that happens, if that map or that skin generates value for the business, then everyone involved in that value chain receives financial benefit in the form of our token. So the person who made the map or the skin gets paid when the thing is sold, either through direct sales or through royalties. Anyone who contributed a piece of that skin, so like if I made the pattern for a shotgun and then like you actually like textured it and put it on the shotgun, we would find a way to split that revenue. And then if your audience comes and locks up $5, $10, $20 worth of Shrap and says, I think that this skin is going to be the most popular and it generates value, they get paid out based on that popularity, more than they put in ideally. And the people who are using the content, the players of the game, the people who are earning the skins or extracting rare things from the maps that are being made, or then selling those things on the marketplace, and they're benefiting because that's how they're getting Shrap, right? So literally anyone from the in my opinion the most important user of our game, the player of the game, is able to financially benefit from their sweat equity. The creators in our ecosystem, which I would put like just behind the players of the game, are able to benefit financially from making the things that they're making. And the people who are just passionate about those people, the creations that they're making, or just the model, just like, hey, I believe in this model and I think that the creator economy is important, and so I want to participate in it, can do so and get financial reward for doing so, which I think is pretty magical.
It's amazing. Well, tell us what is coming. Like, what's the alpha?
So much alpha, guys. It's so much alpha. So right now, like I said, we are in this pre-alpha period for our video game, where the game goes up for 8 hours over 3 days. Every 2 weeks. So we just did it last week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for 8 hours a day. You can come in and play the game. We had a leaderboard system. We have a leaderboard system where every 2 weeks you can win your share of $100,000 in Shrap token. It's like 300,000 Shrap right now. I think we're trading at 30 cents based on your placement on the leaderboard. And your leaderboard placement's based on how much of that green stuff, the Sigma, you extract, right? Mm-hmm. And so that happens, again, like on a 2 week cycle. And then the next big one of those, we have one next week. It'll be a minor release. So basically we do a major release and then 2 to 3 minor releases and then another major release. The minor releases are basically like we're like finding bugs and fixing them. Like we had a problem where like people couldn't extract if they got to the extraction zone like without 10 seconds left. They would just be stuck and it would freeze because you need about 10 seconds to extract. And so like we had to fix that bug, and that got fixed in between sessions. But the major updates will happen like every month and a half or so. And so like at GDC is our next one, which is the end of March. We'll have a ton of stuff launching. So the marketplace will launch. So the ability for people to buy premium skins from Shrapnel will launch at or around GDC before or at. And then shortly after that, the ability for players to sell those skins to each other will go live on the marketplace.
Nice.
And then at GDC, the ability to equip weapon skins on your weapons will go live. And players have been earning exclusive skins through these play sessions that happen every 2 weeks. Like if you get 10 kills, or you play 10 sessions, or you extract 200 Sigma, which I wasn't able to do. Thank you, game team. You have been earning exclusive skins that you will be able to use in game or buy, sell, trade with other people in the future. And so at GDC, you'll be able to start using those skins and showing them off. And then we will also, this is what I'm really excited about. We'll launch what we're calling skin fragments, which are basically pieces of a skin that you will be able to craft into a whole skin and then equip onto a weapon. Those will go live at GDC as well. And so players will be able to load into the match and actually extract NFTs that they could buy, sell, or trade, craft into full skins, buy, sell, or trade. And so it's really, in my opinion, one of our first major steps into like being a real Web3 game. Like we have Web3 stuff implemented right now. Like you can mint your or publish is what we're calling it, your call sign using our Shrap token right now, which is like your gamer tag basically. Like my daughter's name's Hazel, so my call sign is Hazel Paw. So like I own Hazel Paw. No one else can be Hazel Paw and Shrapnel. But that's really the only thing you can do with Shrap token right now is mint your call sign. And so when GDC happens and people are now playing the game and extracting things that will have value, again, exclusive skins that you're only going to be able to get during this time period, people start trading those on the marketplace, completing their sets. And that's what I'm super, super excited about, because it's really going to inflect how we like the number of transactions on the blockchain that we commit every month or every week, the amount of our token that's being exchanged on our platform, like all that kind of stuff just is going to start happening in a more meaningful way. And then lastly, we are going to publish a new version of our white paper soon. I know we've had a lot of people excited about that, and it's got a number of updates to the Shrapnel economic kind of system and framework that people have had a lot of questions around. So like how much tokens in circulation and stuff like that. So we should have updates on that imminently. I'm hoping for early next week. So yeah, if you're watching this and it is not yet Monday, March 5th or 4th or whatever that is, you may have just gotten some alpha.
Pretty good. My brother is a gamer, but one of his concerns is that playing games in Web3 could be risky, because connecting your wallet and doing all these things are part of his concern. He feels like things move so quickly in crypto that maybe he could be exposed to a situation where his wallet could get drained, he could lose money, something like that. How do you bring that assurance to people that are maybe like not Web3 native, so they can have fun and play around with the skins and purchase things in game without feeling that something like this might happen? It's
a great question. It's something that we obsess about. We think about it all the time. So the first thing I would say is we try to publish as much like early kind of educational content when we identify someone coming in from Web 2, and we have a bunch of ways to do that, like what ad they came in on, or what type of code they redeemed for their early access pack. Stuff like that allows us to put people into cohorts and then serve them information like, hey, it looks like you've not been in Web 3 before. Here's what a wallet is, right? But more importantly, our onboarding flow is really, and I know this is a controversial statement, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like our onboarding flow is really Web 2. You go to a website, you create an account on that website with an email address. You get a verification email. You click the verification email, and then we create a custodial wallet that's associated with that account. And all of your stuff that you accrue in the game goes into that custodial wallet, and then you can bridge it out to trade it on other marketplaces if you wanted to. We can't right now, but you will be when this functionality goes live. So the question was, how are we making sure people aren't going to lose their assets? The short answer is there's going to have to be a lot of like, in order for your brother to have a wallet that doesn't have the native Shrapnel assets that he's earned in game to be compromised, he would have to go through a number of steps, including linking that wallet with his Shrapnel account, and then exposing it to some other kind of nefarious thing. I don't know how that would happen, but the point is, like, by the time the user gets to that level, my expectation is that they're either Web3 native because they got there on their own, or they've been playing the game long enough that they've earned enough stuff that we've started communicating with them that they can extract value from the game by selling that stuff outside of the ecosystem, right? But for the most users, we're designing the ecosystem in such a way that like most of the transactions are probably going to occur on our marketplace, right? Because the things that people are buying are again skins in the game, playable characters in the game, and so our heavy focus is on making sure that our network is as incredibly secure as possible. We're built on an Avalanche subnet for that reason, and our team is pretty battle hardened when it comes to security. Our head of platform, Mark Mercuri, was the head of blockchain at Microsoft. He started the Microsoft blockchain group. He was a senior leader on the Azure team for a long time, the cloud team at Microsoft, and he's got stories of like. I don't even know if I can repeat some of this stuff, but he's got stories of like government agencies reaching out to him to help him harden systems around like food supplies for countries and shit. And so if there were anyone that I would put my trust in to keep our network secure, it's that guy. And so that's really been our strategy is like we've hired, in my opinion, like the best people that we could to think about this problem and care about it. And we've given them an incredible amount of resources to build the tools they need to keep people safe.
It's amazing. So it sounds like people need to get on this game before CGD. How can they do that? Tell us.
Yeah. So if you go to the website, shrapnel.com, you can buy an extraction pack, which is like our early access packs for $20, $50, or $100. They come with different levels of in-game content, gear, weapons, and then cosmetic skins that you can only get if you own the packs. You can own all three, and if you own all three, there's different stuff in each one that is exclusive that you'll be able to own and buy and sell and trade. So there is a reason to own all three. And if you follow us on Twitter or you engage with like any @PlayShrapnel content on Twitter with even like mildly humorous comments, there's a high chance that someone on my team is just going to give you one of these for free. So if you want to try it before you buy it, just interact with us on Twitter in our Twitter Spaces or on our Twitter comments, and someone from my team is always watching. We're always watching.
Tony, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. It's been lovely to hear about your game.
Thank you so much. This has been great. I love you guys.